To find your next keyword for your next blog post, you have different options. You can do Google AdWords, which is Google Keyword Planner, and you have Quora, which is a forum, and you have the Buzzsumo. This is actually not free, but for using 3 times, it's already good. So for Quora, it's the exact, if you want to look for keywords really from the exact people, from the exact questions, you can do this too. So let's start with Google AdWords first, which is really the most basic and the most common way to look for keywords. So first thing you need to do is to log into your account if you have, and if you don't have, you have to register and have an account, confirm account for Google AdWords. So we're loading the data. Let's just wait for a minute. So while waiting, so let's say your next blog post is about blogging. What do you think would the audience, your audience, will search, or what keywords do you think your audience will be using to search for the topic? So let's say how to start a blog, which is really the most popular for blogging starters per se. So let's resume and let's try the keyword. The first thing you need to do is go to modify search. And then search for new keywords. You have 3 different options here, but first here, search for new keywords using phrase, website, or category. Then you have options here. It's either you can just enter the keywords here, product or service, or you have the option to use another site for landing page and determine what kind of keywords they are using all the time, or what makes it really searchable for audience, what makes them really searchable from Google. And if not, you can also just enter product category. But the most common here is using product or service. So let's say how to start a blog. Let's try. Get ideas. So you'll see different data here. So from your product service here, how to start a blog, you'll see the graph, and you'll see it's on the range between 250,000 to 750,000, but it didn't reach 1 million searches from the past year, from October 2014 to September 2015. But we're looking here for the keywords. So you'll see competition, medium, and low. Your goal here is you have to have more searches but low competition. So do not choose keywords that have high competition, or else you won't likely be searchable for your audience, especially if you're competing with big sites. So let's see here. The biggest here is 28,110 with low competition, which is really great. So let's see the group ideas, the ad group ideas. This is the most common here. You have write a blog, write your own blog, how to write a blog, how to write your own blog, and all that stuff here. So what you have to do is to use keywords within these words or terms used by the audience. So what do you mean by keyword here? If you don't know about searchability, this is what your audience are usually typing in on the search bar for Google. And these are the data that Google collects every now and then regarding the topic. So we have how to start a blog. So if you try to write about how to start a blog, usually these are the keywords that your audience are typing in. So if you use how to write a blog with 22,200 searches in low competition, you can immediately start it. You can use that. So this is one of your options. Or you can go to modify search. Let's say you want to have an aggressive move. Let's use Melissa Griffin's site, melissagriffin.com. If you don't know Melissa Griffin, she's one of the most influential bloggers that I'm following. So you can use her landing page. If not, you have other bloggers out there that you consider as influencer, so you can use their sites as well. Let's see what we've got here. So far, this is what we have. Social networking, media to grow, increase followers, define success. These are the usual keywords or usual words or terms that are used by the audience to make her site searchable. And if you think Melissa Griffin is your competition, then using these terms will just likely be possible for you to increase ranking or searchability or increase traffic, but not necessarily the exact strategy or exact thing that will happen to your site. But at least you have an idea or several ideas what keywords would you use for your next blog post. So let's say how to start a blog. What particular area or angle you can use using these keywords that you have here to make it more searchable or high ranking. So you can also use the keyword ideas. This is just from her site, so at least you have any idea what kind of topics that she writes that is more high ranking or has higher searches from her audience. So you'll see it's more social media. So you can play with the terms, you can play with the group ideas or keyword ideas based from these terms. So if you find this confusing, you can go to Quora, which is the second type of the most common areas where you can search your ideas for your keywords for your next blog post. So let's say how to start a blog. You'll see different questions here. These are the exact questions that are posted by the people here. So you can use that exact question as your next blog post title, which is really great. Alright, because this is really real questions from different audiences here, and Quora is one of the biggest forums that other influencers are using to find any topics or ideas that they can use for their next blog post or next product or next service. So let's see what are some tips for starting a blog. And you have an idea that by having a title on how do I start a blog on Quora, how do you start, how can I start blogging, you can actually use these sentences as your headlines. And these are killer headlines because these are real statements from people. If not, you can just click search how to start a blog, and let's see what we can get here. So see, you have more suggestions here. How to start a recipe blog, how do you start a blogging business, does anyone have tips? You can use the exact questions from people for your next headlines, and these are terms, keywords that you can use within the content, and headlines and alt tags, everything to increase the SEO score for your content. At the same time, it will likely increase the chances of searchability, indexing, whatever Google has to detect your site as well. So this is really great area for you to have any idea on what keyword or long tail keywords that you can use for your next blog post. If not, if you want to upgrade your searching, you can also use Buzzsumo, but Buzzsumo is a bit pricey. But if you want to upgrade, you can do so. So let's say, by the way, for free, you can only use Buzzsumo for free 3 times within that day. I'm not sure how many hours before they can accept another searches again from you. So I guess they really detect your IP address or whatsoever that detects their user, and I guess within 24 hours. And then after 24 hours you can search again 3 times. So let's try how to start a blog. This is a site where you can analyze different competitions or topic that your possible competitor is using. So you'll see the highest number of shares, by the way. This is a site where they use searches instead of by the way, shares rather. They're using shares than searches. So when it comes to shares, they're analyzing the post with the highest shares, and they gave this data to those people or to those bloggers or writers who want to increase their traffic. Because if they just use the keywords that this article, let's say how to start a lifestyle blog, and it has 19,000 shares, especially with Pinterest. So if they will use the same title or somehow the same title like this site is used, so they will likely have the chance to have higher shares too. So compared with Quora, it's just an idea on what keywords would you use based from the questions that the audience or users are using. For Google, you have any idea on what kind of keywords that the site contained or what the user is usually searching on that month, on that certain date, so you can use for your next blog post to make it really more searchable and high ranking. In Buzzsumo, you're using shares as a test or basis for your searchability. So it's up to you which of these 3 would you like to use, but I'd rather I'd use the 3 side by side. Well, this is what we do most of the time. If not Google keywords, it's usually Buzzsumo or Quora, because Quora, it gives me exact idea on what kind of keywords would I use for the next blog post, and Buzzsumo for shares, at least I really have an idea on what kind of title would I use. And usually I click on the site and see what they've got. This is your chance to see what they've got on the site. So this is your chance also to identify an influencer in your niche. So if not, the last tip that I can give you is, well, use Google. How to start a blog. Never underrate the power of Google browser. It's really powerful. Okay. The thing here is you need to see the top 5 or top 10 or just the first page articles. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 results on the first page. The most important here is the first page, not the second page. So you have the top blogging basics 101. How do I start a blog? How to start a blog? Did you observe? We searched how to start a blog. Look at what we got. How do I start a blog? This is a permalink of the content, and then their title is how to start a blog. Did you observe the similarities? So the permalink contains the exact or almost exact keywords that the user uses. Aside from the permalink, it appears on the headline too. And it appears, some words already appeared in the first paragraph or meta description of the site. So let's click how to start a blog. This is on the first result. So this is really the top most result. So let's see what they have here. You observe our keyword was how to start a blog. Their permalink is how do I start a blog, remember? And their title is how to start a blog. On the first line they have start a blog. What do you think is their keyword? Can you guess? What's their keyword? It's start a blog. Great idea. And then you'll see start a blog. Starting a blog in the middle. And you can see different links. Yeah, with the same or similar keywords, and it's really killer. I should say this is really a killer site. For the next part, I'll be teaching you how to identify a killer post, and I will teach you how to do a killer post, or just an example of a killer post. So that's it for this tutorial. So you have the Google Keyword Planner or AdWords, Google AdWords for your reference. For your next keywords, for your next blog post, you have Buzzsumo and Quora and Google browser. So that's it. See you in the next module.